But joining us now from Fresh Take Sports, he's our friend, he's our colleague, part of our family, part of your family. So on the Window Nation guest hotline, let's welcome back to the show, Cordell Woodland. Cordell, first of all, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How's it going?
All right. Let's start with the Orioles first. And, you wake up and, you figure everything's cool injury-wise. And then Kittredge has the shoulder inflammation. He's probably going to miss opening day, which means he's going to start the year on the IL. And we've talked, Cordell, 1,000 times about what the Orioles need to do to solidify the team, and still trying to get that bullpen situated was one of them. Now they lose a key piece. So what's old Mike Elias going to do to rectify that problem? Or maybe are they comfortable with some of the in-house options, at least for now? It's only March 4th.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's obviously a big blow. Kittredge was brought back to be kind of one of the focal points of a bullpen that they had to spend a lot of this offseason trying to piece back together. And he was one of those guys that you thought would be one of the reliable pieces that you wouldn't have to worry about. So, yeah, it does shuffle the cards a little bit. I am curious to see how it impacts them going into the start of the season and how long he'll even be out. We don't even know that just yet. But you never really like to hear about shoulder problems with pitchers. It is going to be a blow. I'm curious to see who steps up. Tyler Wells is a guy that comes to mind when you talk about some of those middle relief arms. He'll be a guy that I think is going to kind of make his home in the bullpen as the season goes on. So maybe it won't be as big of a blow going forward. But, again, I think it really depends on how long he'll be out.
All right, Cordell, Monday, legal tampering. All the deals will be done on Monday. Who gets done Sunday night by midnight for the Ravens? What deals get done? Does a Linderbaum deal get done? Does a Stout deal get done? Who gets done?
Yeah, I still believe Stout gets a deal at some point. I don't think they want to go back into the market of having to deal with finding a punter and all that type of stuff. I think they want to keep that, especially, going into next year with Loop and wanting to keep as much familiarity around him as possible, I would imagine. Stout is a part of that orchestration. So, look, he had a really good year, his best year as a pro to this point. So I think he'd be one that's probably one of the easier ones to get done. Maybe Kohler is another one that potentially gets done. I'm curious to see how they go about that one. Other than that, I don't really see them spending a lot of money to keep a lot of their pending free agents. Tyler Linderbaum, obviously they want to, but I just don't get the sense. Like if it wasn't about him getting more than what they're offering, he would have signed already.
Correct.
So the fact that we're still here leads me to believe that he is fully prepared to test the market, and I think that the market is going to take him away. It's going to wash him away. You let an offensive lineman, especially at that age, and he's entering his prime, into the open market. Teams are going to throw money at him that the Ravens aren't going to do right now. So I think he's as good as gone. So yeah, I don't really see them doing any other deals outside of possibly the Stout and maybe Kohler.
The only thing with Stout, Cordell, like if you're Stout's agent and he's just been at the combine, whoever Stout's agent is, and Chris Horton, Harbs, and the Giants punter kind of stinks, so I think if you were the agent, Harbs and them have probably, and Chris Horton has probably already touched base with him and say, hey, don't sign. So I could see, one where he's going to get paid more than they thought he was 2 months ago.
No doubt. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I could definitely see that happening. I mean, they have so much competition for their own players now, maybe competition for certain guys that they wouldn't have competition for under usual circumstances. But when you have Harbs and so many guys of their coaching staff go to these different places, you're going to have to fight them off to keep some of your own guys. So, yeah, it does create a market that maybe wouldn't have been there had you not moved on from Harbs. So, yeah, it will be interesting. And, look, he Stout had a really good year. I mean, he will warrant some looks from some people. I don't know how far you should be prepared to go to keep him, but I would imagine they want to keep him. I think they want to keep him, but I just don't know how far they're willing to go to make sure that happens.
Now, Cordell, we'll give you a scenario. We talked about it earlier. If you could get Crosby for 1 and a 3, and sign and trade for him, or go get Hendrickson, and then you could still keep your 14th pick and go get people, what would you prefer to do?
I'm probably going to get Crosby, to be honest with you. I'm all for swinging for the fences. Let's get crazy. Like, if it's all about getting to the Super Bowl and getting over the hump, you've already made drastic changes to your organization, moving on from Harbs, and I didn't have a problem with that. There's been all these rumblings about Crosby. Everybody wants Crosby. Go get him then. Go get him. Pay the tab. You're not getting a premier player for nothing. And look, let's be honest. I mean, their first-round picks haven't always been hits. I think the thing about Crosby, I'm all for getting the sure thing. And they've been trying to fix their pass rush for a while now. Mm-hmm. I think Crosby is a known commodity. I think you know exactly what you're getting out of this guy. I think you know the impact that he's going to make on your defense. You can't tell me that getting Maxx Crosby doesn't elevate their defense. And look, Trey Hendrickson could too, but probably not to the level that Maxx Crosby is. I know Trey Hendrickson led the league in sacks a couple of years ago. I'm a guy that you miss a year in the league, that means a lot to me. And he wasn't able to get back to that production. He's missed a lot of time. He's dealt with injuries. Crosby has dealt with some injuries too. But I believe in Maxx Crosby more than I do Trey Hendrickson at this stage in his career. Draft picks, I'm not a guy that feels like you have to keep all your picks. Like, if you can get an elite player for elite draft capital, it's a win-win for me. So yeah, I would make the trade for Maxx Crosby, and I wouldn't lose no sleep over it.
Now, Cordell, all right, let's say at pick 14, what would you prefer that they take at 14 if they go that route?
Yeah, I'm still best player available. I'm always going to be best player available in the first round. We've seen teams try to draft for need, and the problem is, in the case of the Ravens, when your needs, I guess outside of pass rusher, when your needs aren't the elite positions, and I don't mean to make it out to seem like offensive line isn't important. It obviously is. We've seen the Super Bowl winners. We understand they're built from the inside out. You have to build up in the trenches if you're going to win. I stand by that. But individually, position-wise, I can't, like, I'm not just reaching for a guard because I need one. I'm not just drafting a center at 14 because I need one. So I'm going to get whatever guy that I feel like is highest on my board at that time, that I feel like can be an instant impact to my team. And I really don't care what position that is, to be honest with you. If you're a team like the Ravens, you want to make sure whoever you add is somebody that you can plug and start right away. That's really all I care about. So if it's receiver, make sure that that's somebody that can come and elevate your offense right away. If it's a pass rusher, somebody that you don't have to slow walk and hold their hand and only give them 5% of the snaps to start the season. No, put them out there. Somebody that you're ready to play right away. That's really all I care about. Make sure you go get an impact guy at 14. I mean, last time they were at 14, they drafted Kyle Hamilton. Mm-hmm. That worked out pretty well, and they didn't necessarily need a safety, so we thought at that time. So I'm all for going and getting the guy that you feel like is the best on the board.
Yeah, that was a pick that was criticized by a lot of people. Yeah. Kyle Hamilton back at 14. Cordell, when's the next Fresh Take Sports?
We'll be back tomorrow night. We're back to our 6 to 8 time slot, so that'll be cool. So we'll talk a lot about, obviously, spring training, what's going on down there. You talked about Kittredge. We got Alonzo already showing the leadership yesterday. That was cool to see. And we'll start to get prepared for the start of the new league year, try to start brainstorming on some pending Ravens off-season moves as well.
And then you can explain to us how we can show up at One Winning Drive once a month when there's nothing going on out there. He's Cordell Woodland. Fresh Take Sports. Cordell, we appreciate the time as always, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, guys.
He won't even get in the game.